Okay, guys. Now this is a virtual machine itself that we're going to be using. Like I earlier on said, yeah, you too. Like I earlier on said, guys, I asked you to create 35 gig. Is that not correct? Yeah, with 2 gig for those of you running 64 bits and 1 gig for those of you running what? 32 bit. Is that not correct? Of course, your network card should be bridged. And in this case, I've bridged it with my Wi-Fi. And that is my image. I've also added my guest addition. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to click on my Windows. I'm going to go to Settings. And I'm going to go to my storage. Currently, I have my VirtualBox addition. I can remove it. I'll add it later on. So I'll come to my IDE controller. I'll go to my disk. I'll click on Choose Disk. And I'll go for my image. In this case, I'm installing 64-bit Enterprise, right? While the rest of you are using 32-bit, you take x86, huh? So I'm going to select my image now. I'm going to click Open. And of course, then I'm going to go to my system. I'm going to make sure my DVD it's on my DVD is the first boot. So let's say my DVD is probably on the third option. Yeah, I'm going to select it and I'll push it up one step. The next becomes my hard drive. Are we together? Okay. So I cannot check my floppy if I'm not using my floppy. If I wanted to use my network, I'll check my network and I'll push it up a little bit. So I'll click OK. Now what we have done now is just to set up the virtual machine. Now there are some of you who are new to this class who does not know how to use virtual machine. I believe you must have gone to the YouTube channels to download the videos. Is that not correct? Yeah, you should talk to the rest of the students so that they can give you the link. So what I will do now, I will select my Windows. Everything is set up the way I want it to look like. My CD is attached. My hard drive is okay, and all that. So I'm going to click on Start. So my VirtualBox is going to start up now. Okay, it's going to ask me to press any key. Okay. Now in this case, my Windows is going to boot up. That's my Windows now. It's booting up. I have a problem with the screen, so I'm just going to leave the screen to move like this for flexibility. Okay, I'm going to wait now for Windows to boot up. So Windows is going to boot up now. Now remember, this action, it's now called your boot image. Are you getting me? Now what is happening now is your boot image that is trying to boot up now, right? Okay, it's going to come up now. It's quite faster compared to the time in the morning. Okay. Now remember we talked about options for installing Windows, right? So in this option we're using the Windows what? Setup. Remember you can also use Windows PE, right? Now Windows PE actually looks like this as well, but when you click next in the Windows PE, when you click install, it will now ask you to insert your Windows WIM file. That option. But in this case, this is a CD which also have the image file and also the boot image. But with a PE, after you've done with install, when you come to this section, it will ask you to what? Attach your image file. Now, did you notice there's an option here that says repair your computer? Now, this is the option where you can take if there's a corrupted file on your Windows 8. So you can click repair and it will try to look for the issue, and probably if there's a file that is missing, it will try to recopy the file. But in this case, we're actually doing what? Installing. Now, this is actually a normal simple way an end user will install Windows. When I get to Server 2012, I'm going to be teaching you how to install Windows from a server where we'll be using WDS server. We'll actually deploy Windows literally from a server to a client computer system. Are we together? So that's why you guys, we need to really work on our computer. So I'm going to click install. So the install wizard is going to boot up, which is setup. So setup is going to come up now. It says setup is starting. Okay. Now, if you notice there, it's asking me for my license. Is that not correct? Now, this is a Microsoft software license agreement. You can go through them to see how you can extend your license, how you can get your license, and some of the terms. So I'm going to click accept. I'm going to scroll down again. I'm going to click next. And Now remember, we are currently running a blank computer system. Is that not correct? So in this case, I'm going to click on customize instead of what? Upgrade. Because if I'm running a Windows 7 Ultimate, for example, I can actually upgrade Windows 7 to Windows 8 Enterprise. So I'm going to just select customize. Now, before now, I actually installed Windows before. Are you getting me? So Windows automatically created this partition. Are we together? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to right click on the first, I'm going to delete it. And I'm going to select this as well. And I'm going to delete it. You notice it brings me back to my 35 gig. Is that not correct? Exactly. Now, I can actually still create new partitions from here. But like we all know, Windows actually allows us to be able to create our partition from the desktop. Is that not correct? So because of that privilege, I'm just going to accept default. And I'm going to click on what? Next. And Windows will start copying the files. So with this installation now, I'm not going to get Windows old. Normally, when you do reinstall on top of a Windows, you get a Windows old file. Is that not correct? But in this case, I'm not going to get Windows old because I actually formatted the computer system. I deleted the partition, so every file was deleted. So this is actually like a brand new installation from the scratch. So of course, it's going to go through, and after the installation is done, we'll now be able to boot up Windows from the start. Are we together? So I'm just going to wait for you to go through, install the features, install Windows, and the next step we'll do is to configure Windows. But in this practicals, I just want to show you guys how to create an MMC console. You guys remember we talked about MMC console and how you can use MMC console to customize your administrative tools, disk management, creating local users, performance monitor. Remember, when you go to the computer management, you have so many tools, right? Now, if the company requested you to set up a customized tool for a specific administrator who is a help desk technician, now how do you go about setting those tools? That is what I want to talk about today before you leave. Okay? So I'm going to just wait for Windows to finish. It's not going to waste time. So I'm just going to wait for it to finish.